Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Pesachim Perek Het Mishnah Vav. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to discuss some people who may not be able to eat from the Korban Pesach. And who are they? So Ha'onen. An onen is someone who mideoraita. It's a person who had one of his relatives pass away, and they're laying in front of him to be buried. He needs to take care of the burial, right? As long as he did not, he's considered an onen, right? And we're not allowed to eat kodashim when we're an onen. Why was the pasuk say lo achalti be'onim mimenu? Right? When we actually make that proclamation, right, on the third and the sixth year, right, we say the vidui ma'asrot, part of it is saying, I never ate from kodashim when I was an onen. Now, we mentioned what onen deoraita is. Similarly, the entire day of the burial, the person is considered an onen, but midrabanan. But when it comes to aninut dirabanan, we don't worry when it comes to that for Korban Pesach, because Korban Pesach is is an important mitzvah that would push off this aninut dirabanan. Similarly, hampakeach bagal, person who is pushing over the ruins, right? Someone must be dead underneath, and he's trying to take everyone out of the of the ruins, right? So imagine during when the Twin Towers fell, ground zero, people are going to look, and there are dead bodies underneath. It's probably where you're walking, right? So a person is becoming tameh. Similarly, someone who was promised to be taken out of bet hasurim, promised to take out of jail. Now, this is on two conditions. One is we're talking about a jail of goyim, right? As the pasuk says, "Ashipim diber shav." So we really don't know if he's coming out. But if we're coming out of Bet of Israel, then we'll assume that he's going to come out as promised, right? Right. So, the next condition is that the jail itself, the Bet Hasurim, is outside Chomat Yerushalayim. Because if it was within Yerushalayim, then we could just bring the Korban Pesach to him, so he could eat it over there. Right? So all these people we're mentioning, we're going to see now let us slaughter for them. And so this person's in jail, in a jail ruled by Goyim, and it's outside Yerushalayim. HaCholeh, someone who's sick, right? Can eat. V'azaken, she'enan yecholin le'echol kazait. This person who's sick and the zaken, both of them cannot eat a kazait worth of meat. So en shohatim alehem. Right? We don't slaughter, for them, right? And Rambam points out lechat tahila, because we worry that they may not, right? So we don't because they may not eat from it. Now, when it comes to the onen is allowed to eat the Korban Pesach that evening, right? So when we said en shohatin alav, why not? Right? Only when the dead is in front of him, he can't go ahead but that after that, that evening, we'll be able to eat. Why can't we just slaughter for him and he can eat with us in the evening? So because we worry that because of his evel, because of his grief, he's not going to he's not going to be able to eat. Right? So we don't slaughter for him. And what's going to happen? You have to end up burning the meat. Ve'al kulam. All of them, right? You're not allowed to go ahead and slaughter for them on their own, right? Meaning in their own groups. If you had a group of onenim, you can't go make a korban pesach for a group of onenim, right? A group of cholim, a group of zekenim, a group of people who are mefakeach hagal, right? All of them as a group on their own, they would not be that you're not allowed to do at all. Right? So when we first said en shohatin alehem, that's the chatahila. But kulam en shohatin alehem b'fnei atzmam. Shelo yaviu et haPesach lidei pisul, because we don't want to bring the Korban Pesach to be pasul. If there's no one that's allowed to that's normal kosher could really eat from the korban, then if everyone no one eats from it, then you're gonna have to go ahead and bring this korban to beta pisul. Right? It's gonna have to be burnt and gotten rid of. The fichach. Right? Therefore, therefore, right, if they slaughtered the Korban Pesach and they sprinkled the blood, even though the Hatiqla, you're not supposed to go ahead and slaughter for them because we may come to find the Pisul and it may go to Bet HaSidifa. If we did slaughter for them, they were exempt. Right now they're patur from doing Pesach Sheni because they were covered from the sacrifice itself, even if they didn't eat it. Again, a person needs to be part of the group of the Korban Pesach when they're doing the Shahita and the Zirikat Adam. And over here, they were part of that group. So they're all patur from it, except for one person, because the person who was digging through the ruins looking for someone who may have passed away, right? He is tameh from the beginning, because the second he found someone underneath him, right, then he was obviously on top of them even from the beginning, right? So we're talking about a gal. If you have like almost like a pyramid, and the person's looking on top, right? So he's 100% going to be on top of these on top of the met, right, on top of the dead person, and therefore even when they slaughtered the qurban, he was already tameh from before. So if he was tameh from before, he wasn't part of the group, and he would be obligated in bringing Pesach Sheni. But as we mentioned, this is talking about someone who was on top of a gal agol, right? Top of a rounded, a teepee shape, gal, a mound looking for people underneath. But if it's just a surface, right, and he's just going, looking across the surface, then maybe even, when he was all the way over here, on one side, maybe the dead person was only, a mile into it, and in that case, if there's a safek, he could also be a tur from Pesach Sheni as well.